scared, trust me.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me see. I'm really excited about this. Now, Kamal, I'm not announcing who chose the game or what game has been chosen quite yet, but I'm sure it's going to be absolutely stellar.
No.
Oh, come on. I've got faith. I've got faith in the people who choose these games, okay? It's just... Anyway, sometimes the games are the absolute best, and I'm sure that's what's going to happen today. Absolute bestness.
I admire your optimism.
That's all I have left, Koal. That's all I have left. Yes, in just a little bit, we'll be showing off the video that you made. Koal, I'm really glad you're here, because it is such a good video.
Honestly, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. It was a bit rushed, as you know.
Yeah, but that's fine. I completely understand that. Well, you know, we'll show it in just a little bit. I want to make sure that I have everything ready, Freddy Spaghetti. Your name should be Freddy if it's not. Just my opinion, though. Okay, I actually do have everything ready. We have 10 minutes until the match, and I think that means it's time for a little beautiful video. Take it away, Twitch.
Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
Oh, geez. The zombie wiggling his butt, okay? I just love it. It always brings a smile to my face, you know?
It was my favorite part of a game that I actually really enjoyed.
Oh, really? Well, good. So, you know, we're doing the reveal here. You're here for a reason, okay? I'm not gonna dance around that at all. And, yeah, it looks like Garb is starting to freak out because of the music. Well, we do have a Bubsy game, Bubsy 2, but it's for the Game Boy. Now, I haven't really seen or played any of the Game Boy version, but I've heard it's bad.
How do you feel about frame rates?
I usually enjoy them with a nice side of resolution, you know.
Oh, this is gonna get real awkward.
Oh no, are you saying this doesn't have a frame rate?
I'm not sure how many games we've had in Kusogrand3 that have a crappier frame rate than this one, but I'm willing to bet it's in the single digits.
Yeah, I could believe it. We haven't had virtual highlight ever, so it's hard to say. Oh my gosh, did I really not change the settings there? I'm so dumb. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be the best game that we've had. in the tournament. But, you know, everybody here seems to be a fan of Bubsy, and so, you know, we give what the fans demand.
Bubsy's a fantastic game franchise with a lot of real winners, and Bubsy 2 is a very fantastic platformer with beautiful color and responsive controls that the Game Boy version does not have at all.
Yeah, it's... I know that you really love some of the Bubsy games. Let's see. Which one's your favorite, Jaguar?
I honestly think that having played through them all a lot now at this point, that Bubsy 2 might still be my favorite.
Okay.
But not the Game Boy version. Very, very not the Game Boy version.
I mean, that's fair enough. Usually you want to say not the Game Boy version to literally everything.
There are some great Game Boy games out there, but Bubsy 2 is not one of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like one way that you can find bad video games is to just say, hey, was this made for the NES? Or SNES? Hey, was there a port to the Game Boy? And if so, then you got a pretty crappy version. Now, that's not true with every game, you know? Somehow the Tintin games escaped that fate. But this is not Tintin.
No, Tintin had the advantage of having fantastic music and actually really pretty art style, whereas this is an abomination.
Yeah, everybody should be crying right about now. Especially with Chris and Keith and NPC.
They did make me redraw, so they brought this upon themselves.
It's true. It's true. Don't blame anybody but yourselves. Luckily, this is being extremely easy to capture. I appreciate you choosing a game that lets me do that really quickly.
Game Boy games are good for that because all you have to do is look for where the weird, gross green default color ends.
Yep. Well, there we go. Of course, it is a little bit of a different resolution from most of the games that we have here. So it'll look like it's... not that it's being cut off, but, you know, it'll have little... Why can't I remember what they're called? They're like letterboxes except on the sides. Whatever. Side letterbox. Pillar boxes. Ah. Thank you. I actually didn't know that at all. Well, it is just about time for us to roll. Let me turn up NPC's audio and see if we have any sound. I don't hear any. Are there any tunes? Oh, he's on no sound. No.
It has something that is sort of music-like.
Okay. I like music. Oh my gosh. That is certainly a sound. I'm very offended by this, Koal. I want you to know. This makes me super angry.
I was gonna give them something better, but they made me veto it.
So, yeah, just so you know, this is the winner's bracket. The winner here will be moving on to the gauntlet. The loser will be doing another Recurring Nightmares game, which you never know how that's going to go. If I need to balance the audio later on, just let me know, chat. I trust your opinion. And no, that doesn't count turning it off. I am doing the countdown in Discord right now. Wish them the best of luck. Oh, I can turn the audio up if it is so demanded. I have that capability. As soon as I see movement in the first floor, I will start the timer. Oh, I guess they're... as soon as they move in the stage. How about that? The Hindenburger, huh? Okay, so talk to me, Koal.
Yeah, so this game is fantastic. Basically what we're looking at is it's trying to accomplish some of the same things that Bubsy 2 did for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, which wasn't the best of games, but certainly this port's pretty awful for a number of additional reasons, some of them related to what we're seeing on screen.
Yeah.
A couple of things to think about. First off is we have 3 different floors in the game, and each floor has 3 stages. At the end of each floor, they have to fight a boss fight. The boss fight, when you're playing casually, is basically 100% random. It looks like it works the way that it does in Bubsy 2 traditionally, which is you jump on the boss and sort of chain hits by gliding in between. But it doesn't really work that way because the hitbox doesn't really work and you sort of fall through the boss. So that's a giant pile of crap.
Sorry, I'm loving this right now. Just seeing NPC being like, no, I want to go right, but he can't. He's only going left. I could feel his desire to change directions. Is it easy to change directions during this flying section? I
mean, it is and it isn't. It is. The input's actually very simple. The only problem with trying to change direction is that it's based on double tapping an input, and it sort of eats your inputs here and there.
Ah. Well, yeah, it's Bubsy. I'm trying to think. So, what did you give them? How much information did you give them for this game?
They know it's a Bubsy game, they know Bubsy can glide, and they know that it'll be graded based on the number of stages they complete.
And that's it?
Yeah, of course that's it.
Oh, baby. Koal, this is why I love you.
Cadus asked if I was going to give them a manual or any sort of instructions or controls or anything, and I thought that was precious.
I do, part of me really does love the idea of both players just having no information. It's like the case of you're sitting down at your friend's house. They throw the Game Boy into your lap, you pick up one of the cards, and you look at it, and you're like, Bubsy 2, I wonder how this plays. Slip it in. You're not going to read the whole freaking manual before you do that,
I think you only ever read the manual when you were, like, as a little kid going out with your parents to go pick up a new game, and then you were sitting in the back of the car and wanted to play it right now.
NPC beat the level, by the way. Moving on to stage
NPC
2.
takes the lead.
Nice.
Just like Bubsy 2, the goal is to find the giant marble at the end of the stage and then hit it, and then the marble will spin around and shoot other marbles all over the screen. What's really funny is if they don't leave the screen, those marbles are on, the natural sprite limit of the hardware makes it stall to a crawl, and you wind up getting about 1 frame per second for a while.
Oh, baby. That doesn't sound very enjoyable.
We do get some mimicry of the worst stage layouts from Bubsy 2. The maps are completely different, but they use the same graphics and approximately the same music, I guess. Speaking of, we get the music stage, which are the worst stages from Bubsy 2's traditional version. We also get the plain stages, which are the most boring stages from Bubsy 2's more traditional version. But now we have with Chris and Keith hitting stage number 1. That's going to tie them up, although NPC's got a tiebreaker on him right now.
Yeah, due to getting here a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah, it's just a little bit faster to getting to the first completion. It looks like NPC is working their way through the music stage actually very quickly. The stages are non-linear, and trying to figure out where to go to make progress can be really challenging, so we're not going to grade partial stage progress in this game. It's just too hard to tell who's actually closer to the exit.
Yeah, I think I would agree. It's a puppet armadillo drop. Oh, baby. Looks like Chris and Keith got one of the bonus stages.
Yeah, you want to avoid these. These don't really help you even in casual runs. In theory, they give you extra lives, but
It's a good theory. Yeah, can you get extra lives? Oh no, Chris and Keith got run over.
you can get extra lives. An NPC actually goes to 2 stages completed, making very rapid progress through these early stages.
Very nice. I think Chris and Keith will be able to get through. It seems like the stages are a little bit more straightforward than on the Super Nintendo and Genesis version.
Yeah, a lot of that is just because the maps can't be as large, so there's less maze to navigate.
Okay. Good. That gives hope. Oh my gosh, yeah, the frame rate in this is not particularly good.
Oh my god, the best part about Bubsy games is how quickly they play, and this just plays so slow, it's awful.
Yeah, I can tell that. I'm really glad that we have this, though, because I've never actually watched or played any of this. And
well, and the speedrun for it's like 8 minutes long, so even if you watch the speedrun, you don't really get to soak in how crappy it is.
It's true. I actually still like watching this more than Bubsy 2 on the Genesis. And let me tell you why. I can understand what's going on.
That does help. If you don't already know where to go in Bubsy 2 is a real nightmare.
Yeah. Justin will never forgive me for that. Then again,
With Chris and Keith just found one of the intended ways to walk through walls, but there's actually a lot of ways to go through walls in this game.
Really? Plenty of
Never trust what you can see on screen. You can get through all sorts of stuff just by walking through it.
Oh man.
There are some slopes in this game where if you're running at them going top speed, which is admittedly really slow, Bubsy will actually keep running through the slope into the terrain and then just fall off the screen.
I'm trying to think. Now, I know the Super Nintendo and Genesis versions have an East Wing and a West Wing. Is that the same here?
No, the Game Boy cart had too much limited memory, so they only give us the 9 stages, and the filler they give us to make up for it is we get to fight the final boss 3 times, and the fights are identical.
Jangle Storm, I appreciate the sub. We are just 6 minutes, almost 7 minutes into this match, and NPC has a little bit of a lead. I think Chris and Keith may be able to start catching up here, though.
Chris and Keith made the mistake of going to the Egypt stage second, which is a lot more mazy than the music stage. The music stages are usually difficult primarily for having too many enemies. And in the Game Boy version, because there's such a limit on how many enemies they could put into the game, it's really not as dangerous as it is comparably in the other versions of it.
Oh my gosh, the
Whereas
Genesis
Egypt is just
version,
huge.
It's a nightmare.
The other thing here is Bubsy's collision doesn't work quite right, and you can see that a little bit on with Chris and Keith's side, as Bubsy sort of phases through or clips through the head of an enemy and winds up taking damage while hitting them or landing on them. That's something that's true in the Jaguar version as well. It's actually something they really only got right in Bubsy 2's Game Boy or Genesis or Super Nintendo version. The original Bubsy does it, Jaguar Bubsy does it, sometimes even Bubsy 3D does it.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, geez. Isn't that nice? Put an enemy right when you walk out of the wall there in the Egypt stage. Or walk out of the portal. Oh my gosh. I'm looking into this a little bit more. Game Boy Bubsy.
It looks like Cadis wants to drop some knowledge on us.
I'm ready for some knowledge. Because it looks like this was Images Software Limited, the one who made this. They actually made some good games, but they also made Last Battle, which is something that Mike loves. Oh, they made Back to the Future Part 2? Oh, no. Oh.
That might be a better game than this one.
But they did make Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy in Monsterland. And that was a good game. Oh my gosh.
I mean, Vic Tokai made, what was it, Socket? And a lot of people think that's a good game.
Socket? Okay, I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, the Egypt music, I actually like the music on this version a lot better than the Genesis version. I can understand what the tune is.
The Genesis version is super weird because they actually had a couple different versions of the theme music that were sort of remixed. and they put them into different sections of the geography of the stage. So the theory is if you're playing it casually and you're sort of walking around slowly, you hear one theme for a few seconds and you hear a different theme. It's supposed to break up the monotony of navigating the maze, and it's still too fast, but it's a good idea in theory. The problem is when you play it fast, you hear all of them sort of blend together in this nightmarish cacophony.
That's beautiful. So the programmer for this game, Damian Stones, he worked specifically on the Game Boy version. He was a programmer for Worms 3D. He was a programmer for The Crew, which I know that The Crew 2 has been getting pretty big in some of the Kuso community. Not as a bad game, just people like to play together. Yeah, and he's done some Tony Hawk's games, so I'm just glad that the main programmer here was able to go and do some quality stuff. Yeah, all of them seem to have moved on to some good stuff.
I mean, I wasn't really around for Bubsy when Bubsy was first on the scene, but as I recall, it was supposed to be sort of a reasonable facsimile of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the original selling point was supposed to be like a more attitude kind of oriented alternative to Sonic and Mario. So I think a lot of developers thought at one time that Bubsy had a future.
Yeah, I think so. Well, looking at this, Thor Hayton, who did some of the artwork for this, was the art director for Diablo and for Warcraft 2. This was his first gig when it came to art.
Whoa, with Chris and Keith just finished the Egypt stage.
Nice. Is that all three?
I think so, yep.
Nice.
So with Chris and Keith goes into the lead and is now fighting the first of the 3 bosses.
So, just so everybody knows, every game ties back to Blizzard in one way or another. Yeah, another one of the artists for this game also worked with Blizzard later on. Oh, this is cool. Ooh, and they're a senior animator for Hand of Fate 2.
Wow, with Chris and Keith on the first try, knocking off the first of the 3 boss fights.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm used to NPC demolishing everything, but Chris and Keith, they have done tremendously well in the past. And they're doing great here as well.
And I could personally guarantee NPC is very unhappy right now.
You think so? Yeah, where's
NPC
the
NPC is going to have words for me momentarily.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for those.
It's not unthinkable at this pace that we could actually see one or both of them finish the game in an hour.
Yeah, I think that could be possible. Chris and Keith is making some solid progress. Question though, when you run out of lives, do you go back to the beginning?
I believe so. I've actually never run out of lives in this game.
Okay.
Oh yes, before NPC knew what the game was, he was already threatening to make me eat a shoe that had been already eaten. You can use your imagination to think of what that means.
Well,
so I'm sure he's even more unhappy with me now. With Chris and Keith actually padding the lead, that's another stage completed.
NPC lives completing the stage though. He's going to be moving on to the boss. I don't imagine the boss is going to take very long at all. Yeah, Chris and Keith beat the plane stage. It's not too difficult. I feel like the plane stages are probably the easiest.
They're the easiest, but also the most boring.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I know that you worked on putting together a list of games that wouldn't be vetoed. Like, how long was your list?
I had 8 games lined up for today.
Okay.
The very bottom of my list was the nuclear option to end all nuclear options, and I'm actually glad I didn't have to use it because I don't want to watch it.
Now I'm wondering.
I'll tell you later.
Send me some delicious PMs. Okay, this boss music is certainly music. There we go. NPC getting through that pretty quickly. Oh, jeez, Koal.
I know, right?
How risque. Okay, NPC is on to the next plane level. It looks like Chris and Keith is just one stage ahead of NPC, so he may be able to start making a comeback here, depending on how Chris and Keith does on the music stage. So is this is the second floor. Presumably the levels should be getting more difficult.
Bubsy 2's never been good at difficulty curve, but they do get mazier in this version of the game. It's actually got a cleaner difficulty curve on Game Boy than it does on Genesis or Super Nintendo. Yeah, this was actually one of my kinder options.
Yeah, this was game number 2.
I'm honestly not sure if this game is better or worse than game number 1 from my list.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Oh my gosh. This music is unbearable.
To answer Cadis's question, yeah, actually at this pace, I would not be surprised at all. Honestly, it's possible that one of them could finish by the 45-minute mark.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
I did not expect they would be flying through it this fast, but then again, this is why they're in the bracket stages and we get to spectate.
Oh, dude. I prefer it that way, you know? Just lose early and then enjoy everybody else's suffering. That's how I roll. But then again, Koal, the whole reason you got to know and love Spider-Man 3 so much is because you had to play it.
I have Spider-Man 3 to credit for an awful lot of firsts in my life. Some of them are great. Some of them not so much.
I was gonna say, is Spider-Man 3 the reason you're dating someone, or was that Bubsy?
That was Bubsy.
Oh, dang it.
Bubsy 2, in fact, specifically, but the Genesis version. It's complicated.
So,
Spider-Man 3 is the reason I started streaming in the first place, though.
Nice. So I'm gonna say, everybody here, if you want to get dates, bring out the Bubs. Okay, Bubsy Twitter, if you're listening to me right now, you can go ahead and give me credit for all of the married people and the people who are smooching over Bubsy, okay? Apparently it's not good advice. I don't believe them. Bubsy or Comcast? Comcast does not get you dates. No,
Comcast does whatever the opposite is.
In fact, they stab children. Yeah. It's kind of terrifying. So keep Comcast away from children, okay? Is there fall damage?
With Chris and Keith is finding out why this part of the stage is terrible. And sometimes?
Sometimes? What?
It kind of decides when it wants to apply it and when it doesn't. Just like in other Bubsy games, if you glide first, you're fine. If you don't remember to glide, then you may or may not be fine.
Okay.
I think it's related to the amount of frames that just randomly go missing. If you're on the correct missing frame, then it just forgets to apply the damage for some reason.
Oh, thank you.
You can also clip through the floor when you fall down sometimes.
Oh, Carrie, unfortunately, didn't get in a relationship because of Bubsy. I'm sure it healed any relationship issues that may have been happening, though, you know? Bubsy heals all wounds with his Band-Aid of truth.
I was gonna say Bubsy suffers all wounds, but really he suffers one wound and then dies. It's sort of his lot.
But wait. You have 3 hits in this game, right?
3, sort of. I mean, in this game you kind of have about 20 because the collision's so bad.
I love it. It's so good. NPC has about double the lives of With Chris and Keith, though. It's kind of
Yeah, you actually start with 9, so being all the way up at 13 lives means that NPC has found pretty much all the extra lives. But with Chris and Keith, finishes this music stage, stays in the lead.
Very nice. We'll have to see if NPC can figure out this stage a little bit faster. No, he's backtracking. Uh-oh. This is not good.
Backtracking in this game is sometimes okay, because there's a lot of different ways to get to where you're supposed to be going. The game's non-linear. It's more linear in Game Boy than it is in the other consoles, but it's still a maze where you can get there all sorts of different ways and take the same door twice, you wind up in a different place and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, that's always nice. So dumb. Why? Why would you take a door somewhere and then think, oh, what I should obviously do is go right back? Seriously, I would never get to the refrigerator if that happened, Koala. I'd just give up. Starve to death.
But you could open the refrigerator and wind up in the garage.
That happened once.
Hey, listen, man, I've woken up in some strange places after going to the refrigerator too many times.
That's fair enough. Okay, Chris and Keith taking a big fall, but getting bounced right back up. Looks like that is a walk-throughable wall. Walk-throughable? Passable?
They all are if you try hard enough. Anywhere they have hard edges, you can probably clip through it.
That's always nice. NPC.
Another fun quirk about this game is if you land on one of those torches, and we saw it on With Chris and Keith's side a moment ago, Bubsy grabs his butt, which is on fire, and then gets catapulted back up into the air really slowly because it's Game Boy. But it actually does no damage. You can land on torches over and over and over again and keep lighting Bubsy's butt on fire, and nothing bad happens.
Oh, that's cool. So watch out, if you have a flammable butt, don't go to Egypt.
Also, With Chris and Keith just got killed by the floor, which was completely unfair. There's actually a water feature there, but it's got almost the same pattern and texture as the rest of the stage, so it's almost impossible to tell if there's anything different about it.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
It looks like the same texture rotated 90 degrees. It might actually be the same texture rotated 90 degrees.
I like the drum that just plays itself. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's so, like, it doesn't look particularly happy, you know, just a very horizontal mouth there, but he's doing his thing, okay? He knows his purpose. He knows
it's not that he's unhappy, it's that he's really focused. It's hard to play the drums.
It's true. I had a percussion class in college, okay? And besides being at 7:30 in the morning and being absolutely the worst time possible, okay? Nobody wants to play drums at 7:30 a.m. But yeah, we got to learn how difficult it was. And it was fun, but not the easiest. I fell asleep in that class once. Professor came and whacked a drum in my face, like one of those big bass drums. I fell out of my chair. This isn't an exaggeration, Koal. It just wasn't the best date for me.
You know what you needed?
What?
Herculade!
Herculade! Just take a swig of that stuff. You won't sleep for days.
Sounds like you haven't had that problem.
Oh no, trust me, I've had that problem. That's why I'm getting that CPAP. And that's why I have it. I get to try it tonight. Oh my god.
I probably should do the same. I kind of snore like a bear made of chainsaws.
Oh my gosh, I want a bear made of chainsaws. You know, just imagine
can hook you
how
up. I know a guy.
The lumber industry would be soaring, you know? Everybody investing in trees. Oh no! NPC dying from fall damage. Who did this?
That is a rarity in this game. I'm actually really surprised that happened at all.
Justin is asking who did this. Well,
I think Justin can figure it out if he thinks about it real hard.
Warcraft 2 and Diablo helped with this. Were they drunk? Good question, Justin. Oh.
That is how I play Bubsy.
You know, that's probably the way to do it. Chris and Keith grabbing an extra life. Egypt, maybe a little bit difficult, though. Oh, I love that water that's totally not moving at all. Why couldn't they even slightly animate it?
I think because of the size of the maps, they were under some really significant technological constraint, and I think that's actually, when I mentioned earlier, I think they rotated the texture 90 degrees. I think they really did, and I think that's because they just couldn't put another image file into the game cart. I don't think it was them being lazy, I think it was actually them being brilliant. It didn't work the way they wanted it to, but it's probably a really good way to actually save space in the cart.
You're probably right, yeah. Just rotate those images. NPC finishing the music stage. Very nice. With Chris and Keith is just one stage ahead of NPC, and this is NPC's chance to start catching up. Now, for people who don't know, NPC actually won the last tournament. That's why he's one of the favorites to win this tournament. Simply put, people who did well previously tend to do well in the future. Chris and Keith, though, has blown my mind with how they've done throughout the whole tournament so far.
Yeah, we've had some newcomers that have been really, really impressive. With Chris and Keith comes to mind, as well as Pika Pals, who has been crushing it so far.
Yeah, I know. Oh, this music is so good.
It's weird how this part actually sort of sounds like music, but everything else that comes out of this game is just the worst, most horrifically grating sound.
I'm sad that we don't get a Game Boy version of the sort of space pirate music, or do we?
Sadly, we do not. All we get are these three stage types. We don't get the pirate stages, and we don't get the medieval stages, which are actually the two best types of stage in the original release of the game. So
yeah, I'd agree.
they managed to find the three crappiest ones and keep them.
What? NPC is already through?
Holy crap,
That
that's really
is
good.
a lead change for sure.
As mentioned, you can clip through just about everything, and I think that may have happened for NPC. I was actually watching with Chris and Keith's side, and I missed it, but to get there that fast, he probably fell through the floor somewhere.
I love it. He probably fell through the floor. Probably broke the game. Yeah, not too surprised. But yeah, NPC. See, that's why you never take your eyes off the match, because you don't know when somebody is just gonna break the game open.
And I should know better, having watched most of NPC's matches so far.
Oh, jeez. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris and Keith manages to do that in the near future in this stage.
Seems like with Chris and Keith has been just a monster in the music stages, but I think that NPC has the advantage in the Egypt stages.
Yeah, I'd say so. And NPC moving on to the third set of stages. This is the last set, right?
Yep, this is the final floor, so if NPC finishes these three stages and beats the boss, that's a completed game.
Wow. And we're not even half an hour in. Oh, Chris and Keith gets a bonus stage.
Yeah, a lot of folks might remember from Bubsy 2, this is the worst of the bonus games,
This
and for
is
some
so
reason...
slow. How is it so slow? Oh my gosh. And there's no way out of this bonus stage, right?
Nope, you just keep flinging frogs.
Well,
There are 12 frogs here, and the timer is like a minute and a half long, so it's faster to throw all the frogs by throwing them the shortest possible distance over and over and over again.
yeah. Wow, NPC just demolished the plane level.
No surprises there. The plane stages are really linear and very short. It's the Egypt stage that's really going to sort of mess things up here. NPC has so many extra lives that completing the music stage should be pretty trivial for him, if maybe time-consuming, but the Egypt stage could potentially stymie him for a long time.
Oh, now what you're seeing, Chris and Keith is doing this minigame sort of the way it's intended, but unfortunately, the collision detection with the frogs is just terrible.
And the benefits for doing it really well are abysmal.
Yeah, that's Bubsy too. When in Egypt, do as the Egyptians do? I don't know. That looked like a really good door that Chris and Keith just got. I'm not sure, but it took very far over. Yeah!
It's always hard to say.
That's the end.
Yeah, it wound up being a good door, but traveling a long distance in this game doesn't always mean that you're going the right direction. A lot of the times what they'll do is they'll put the end of the stage like right below or right above where you start.
Okay.
So you have to go all the way across the stage and then double back.
Gotcha. No NPC into a pit. But NPC has 16 lives. I'm not even worried at this point.
Yeah, NPC doesn't have to worry about a game over anytime soon. I'd be more concerned about just getting stuck in the maze on the Egypt stage and then not finding his way out for a while.
Oh, there we go, into the sand. I'm glad that there are different death animations, though, in this game. If there's one thing that they should have kept, I'd say that's one of them, you know?
I'd say it's like one of the more frustrating parts about the new Bubsy that came out 2 years ago is, like, one of the things Bubsy's always been known for is having a billion different death animations, and that's been true in every version of the game, except the brand new one.
Yeah, that's disappointing. Maybe someone can mod the game. Hey, all of you video game modders, you hackers out there, all of you who can read binary and stuff, go ahead and put some new death animations in Bubsy, okay? Put it in the Steam Workshop, bam! You know, if the developers won't do it, then we can do it. Maybe.
It just feels like it's been a lot longer, Amazing Toaster. It's not my fault.
With that said, Koal, the speedrun is actually highly entertaining. I'm shocked.
Yeah, honestly, I think all the Bubsy games have that going for them, just because they play so fast that if you know what you're doing and where to go, it's actually really interesting. Possible exception for this game because it's so slow, and Bubsy 3D just because it's so visually arresting to have on the screen, but for the most part, like Bubsy 1, Bubsy 2, and Bubsy Jaguar, and even the new Bubsy play so fast that it's kind of hard to not enjoy it.
Yeah, I'd say so. I didn't think the speedruns were going to be too interesting, but as soon as I saw the run submission for BBG, which everybody should watch, it's in September, as soon as I saw that submission, I'm like, wow, this is entertaining. This is good stuff. Okay, I'm ready for different music.
That's too bad.
I know, we're not gonna get it for a while. Oh my gosh. When in Egypt, tombs of fun. So fun, looking at dead people.
It's probably a thrill for a Bubsy. He spends so much time dead that, you know, this is kind of a nice change for him.
Oh, I'm with my people. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. Oh, geez, NPC burning his buns a whole bunch.
Yeah, his buns deserve it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Chris and Keith opted to do the music stage. Is there much different with this music stage than the previous ones?
It's a little bit more challenging in terms of enemy density, but it's not any mazier than the previous two, so honestly, doing this instead of Egypt is probably a good idea if they think that they aren't going to clear the game.
Okay. Yeah, Egypt has been extremely difficult for Chris and Keith. I completely understand going music stage before Egypt, and Chris and Keith managed to get over the stage.
Yep, that can be good or bad, depending. Sometimes it's hard for Bubsy to come back down.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I'm gonna keep watching. my eyes. Razor focus here. It just keeps going. Koal. Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah, that turned out to be a bit of a troll.
Oh, I love it. He did get information.
It is not Mario.
Information that the exit is not at the top right. That's about it.
Cadus is saying that when NPC was on Egypt 2, he didn't actually clip through anything, he just accidentally found the right path through the maze on the first try.
That's awesome. Doesn't happen very often. Good job, NPC. Okay, Chris and Keith just probably gonna get the one-up. Yep. How did I know, Koal? How did I know that door was gonna take him to the one-up?
Magic?
Yeah, I'm psychic.
Are you some sort of
I'm a Bubsy psychic. I'm the Bubsy whisperer. It's kind of a terrifying thing to have, you know. Out of all the superpowers I could have chosen, this is not one.
I mean, you could have chosen it. I'm just not sure why you would. That's coming from somebody who speedruns almost all of the Bubsies.
Oh yeah. How does the water go uphill when it's not moving? I don't... This game.
Yeah, it does whatever it wants. NPC is experimenting with doors. This is, we've gotten to that point of the run.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh my gosh, amazing toaster, no. Okay, NPC found a new door. Is this the right door? What's behind door number 50? Balls! That's cool. Is that it? Oh my gosh! What a fair and well-balanced game this is.
Somehow, after the half a dozen or so, like, instant deaths that NPC has suffered, he still has 16 lives left to spare. So that's something, at least.
It's pretty significant. I think that we're going to see a completion still. You know, 37 minutes in, both of them struggling with the levels that they're on, but I think they'll find the exits.
I think at this point, with Chris and Keith might have made the better choice by going to music instead of going to Egypt. Egypt is quite a bit more mazy, but eventually he's going to have to clear Egypt to beat NPC anyway, so...
It's true.
Unless they're both stuck on these stages forever, which I very much doubt.
NPC continues his descent into madness, as well as Bubsy 2. Let's see, Garb is sending me sweet little whispers. Apparently it seems like they have infinite lives. Both runners do, though. So maybe that's not a problem. Oh yeah, they don't actually lose lives.
I believe that the life counter is glitched. I forget exactly how that works, but I believe it's instant death doesn't reduce, but dying to enemies does. Something does reduce it. I forget how it works exactly.
Okay. I have seen Chris and Keith go under 9, I believe.
Yeah, with Chris and Keith was at 7 for a while. I think that might have been enemy damage.
What a game. Oh my gosh, Koal. It's so ridiculous. It's like, do we have time to test numbers? And they're like, nobody cares about the numbers, you know. Just
They're like, this is a play Bubsy game. Nobody's gonna buy this.
Actually,
joke's on them. I bought 2 copies.
Oh no, Koal, why?
So I can speed run 1 and keep the other one in my Game Boy bag.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, it's
you never
because
know
I was
when you
looking for
bust
one.
Bubsy out.
I was looking for one with the original box and instruction manual intact, and I got sick of waiting, so I bought a copy. And then one with the box and instruction manual intact showed up on eBay like a week later, so I wound up buying that one too.
What a
But it worked out,
crappy
because now I have
review.
every Bubsy.
I just found a review, and I think it's got the laziest jokes in it. This is dumb. Hopefully Bubsy hasn't used up all his 9 levels yet. 9 levels? Oh my gosh. Because this game will certainly take away one of them. Poor graphics and gameplay, as well as personality shortage, make Bubsy 2 anything but the cat's meow. Or this one. Play mechanics involve slowly gliding down floors to locate an exit before time expires, and the inclusion of a Nerf gun to dispatch animal adversaries makes things too easy. Better than the unresponsive 16-bit versions, but only by a whisker.
With Chris and Keith just finished the music stage, so they are moving on to the final stage of the game, I believe.
Moving on to Egypt, and I'm sure Chris and Keith is not super excited about that.
No.
Does that put Chris and Keith in the lead then?
I believe it does, yes.
Sweet. Always nice to have a late game lead change.
The other thing that it does is if With Chris and Keith can complete this stage, they move on to the final boss fight. And so far, the boss has proven to be a non-challenge for both of these runners.
Yeah. I mean, the boss isn't really that complicated. The Genesis and Super Nintendo bosses are a little bit complicated, from what I've seen.
So it's basically the same fight, except that in the Genesis and Super Nintendo versions, the boss can hit you at the top of the screen, and it interrupts your glide animation and deals damage.
Ah.
In the Game Boy game, that doesn't happen, but you can just clip through the boss and take damage for no reason, so, you know, take one and leave the other.
NPC, where's the exit? Where's the exit? Where is it? I'm dying. Oh my gosh, come on, you can do this. You can do this. I've got faith. I've got faith in both of you that we can see the end of Egypt.
They're so far off the beaten path from the speedrun of this that I have no idea where either one of them are.
NPC is at the end!
Alright, that opens it up. NPC could potentially finish the music stage before With Chris and Keith can finish this Egypt 3. And I wouldn't be surprised, because music stage is quite a bit easier to navigate.
So to recap, everybody, NPC is currently behind just because Chris and Keith beat the previous level faster than NPC beat Egypt. But if NPC can get through the music stage, which seems to be more straightforward, he will be in the lead and go fight the final boss there. Basically, whoever beats this stage first has a very good chance of finishing the game.
I honestly did not think coming into this either one of them were going to clear it, and I'm shocked that it's quite likely both of them will.
Yeah. Ooh, NPC got Super Mario Bro'd. How do you even see how much health you have?
I think it tells you if you pause, like a lot of Game Boy games do that.
Of course, they're like, HUD at the bottom, too busy already. You know, we gotta show you how many balls you collected, but health? No, you gotta pause to see that.
It might be the way it works in the other versions where the face of Bubsy in the lower right changes expression, but because it's a Game Boy game, you can't tell what the expression's supposed to be anyway.
Garb says you're right. That's what it is. I'm not sure if this is close to death. The face that we see there looked like the face of death.
It looks like they have the same face on both sides, but I have no idea what that means.
They're so sad. Oh, jeez. Oh, I want this game to end with its crappy music.
Hey, some of the music's really good.
No, the music stage hurts.
It's better than the title screen.
I think I prefer the title screen.
Let's spend some time on the title screen after this, and we'll find out.
I don't think we should. I think I'll go ahead and skip that. Oh no, I don't even know what those enemies are. They look like angry accordions.
That is exactly what they are.
Yes, I guessed right.
Now you can be good at Bubsy.
Oh, good. See, I'm the Bubsy Whisperer, I told you. NPC taking another death. Yeah, I have no idea how to even tell with the face at the bottom right.
I've been watching on With Chris and Keith's side, and I don't think it's been changing. But I could be mistaken. Again, it's Game Boy. Who can tell?
Oh, yeah. No. High spirits, Koal wants to hold me hostage and make me play Bubsy.
No, I want to hold you hostage and make you play the Demon Rush.
Oh yeah, you can do that Thursday.
I will.
Well, good. Good, because we are doing sub-choice games on Thursday.
Do you want my speedrun notes?
Justin apparently is really sad about the Demon Rush making a return.
I can't imagine why. It's got great music. Justin serenaded me with that music using a kazoo at GDQ.
Let me just tell you. Okay, let me just tell you. Oh yeah, we did do Kazoo Demon Rush. That was so good. Let me just tell you though, I prefer the music over this music.
Do you?
Yeah. At least the D tried.
With Chris and Keith is actually really close to the end of Egypt.
Wow. Don't burn your buns, Bubsy. Don't burn them. Darkman. Yeah, this is definitely a game. Come enjoy. Bubsy. Simply put, Bubsy 2 should have never been released, period. And whoever thought about porting it to Game Gear, Game Boy...
Game Boy. They are a saint.
I'm sorry, I'm not, like, using my brain today. It's so sluggish. It's so incredibly slow. So you said you've only seen a handful of games that have had a slower frame rate than this?
At least in Kusogrand3. I mean, everybody knows Virtual Highlight is worse than just about everything in terms of frame rate, but it's not really one that's suitable for Kusogrand3's style.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how we could even have a race in that. Oh no, NPC's dying! Okay, Chris and Keith, I think if he would have gone straight down right there, that might have been the exit.
I think he's just narrowly dodged the exit like 3 times now.
I think so. But I can't blame him, because it really feels like that's not the way to go. Set seed virtual highlight race. Oh, Koal, there we go. We've got ideas in chat.
I'm so glad we have creative people in chat.
Ah, yeah, they're something. I tell you. Are those like animals walking around wearing goats' heads? I'm not completely sure what they are on the music stage. Looks like goats that murdered other goats and decided that was a fashion trend.
Yeah, more or less.
NPC! I think this is dead. Yep, from fall damage.
It still looks pretty likely that we'll get a clear or two, but it's getting more and more likely that they're going to get stymied by their final stages.
Oh, geez, yeah. Music stage is being a bit brutal for NPC. Chris and Keith always has had a little bit of a trouble with the Egyptian stage. Hurry up, Bubsy. Your whole shtick was about going fast, okay? At least used to be. I think Chris and Keith may... No.
I think he's going the wrong way now. I think he's already taken that door before.
A happy little snake crocodile thing. I don't like that.
Yeah, he's just having a good time.
Doesn't really do anything, just sits there. It's like, hey, welcome to ancient history.
Boo!
I'm sorry, Koal. We're playing a Bubsy game. Look, there's no humor left in Bubsy, okay? Bubsy is the most annoying protagonist, I think, ever. Name me one protagonist more annoying than Bubsy. I'm waiting.
Alberto.
He's more just dumb. Like, Bubsy's both dumb and annoying.
Jimmy.
Who?
Jimmy.
Okay, yeah, I think Jimmy beats Bubsy in many ways. The Owl from King's Quest V, Alexander from King's Quest VI. Wow, okay. I love that two people immediately just...
All right, NPC, on to the final boss.
And so is Chris and
They're
Keith.
both on to the final boss.
They're both on to the final boss at the same time? Oh my gosh. This is a race.
Why does this keep happening with games I pick?
This is amazing. Okay.
All right, very slight advantage to with Chris and Keith right now.
But it doesn't really seem like this boss is complicated at all.
It is not. Really, it just comes down to who clips through the boss the most.
Oh my gosh. This is the
NPC
final
is
boss.
probably not.
What is that? It's a pig. I don't know.
It's a pig and a robot.
I mean, that could be awesome. NPC taking a little bit of damage, but actually jumping right on top of the boss's head immediately after because of where that damage placed him.
That is time. With Chris and Keith takes it.
Wow. Holy crap.
And NPC is 2.5 seconds behind.
That is nuts. That is ludicrous. That match. Holy cow. Yeah, both players finish Bubsy right next to each other. Yeah, GG. Definitely a close one. We may... Oh my gosh. I would say that this is definitely one of the closest matches we've had, at least this tournament. I don't know if it comes as close as Dream TV during Kusogrand3, but this was amazingly close. From what we saw with Chris and Keith, took a very small victory. Very, very small. In fact, I would offer them, if they wish to go back and review their VODs, they are welcome to do that. But from what I saw, Chris and Keith just beat the game about 2.5 seconds before NPC. NPC, hello!
Hey, it's a close take. It's a close take. It's a close... Whatever,
My brain's working about the same.
Bubsy has ruined you.
Well, actually, that was quite a fun game, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you know, other than that one Egyptian level that I got stuck on forever.
Yeah.
If it's any consolation, the Egyptian level is what held up both of you for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well. I was afraid I was going to die at the final boss because I kept getting hit so much.
Yeah, you definitely did get hit quite a few times. It was just amazing sitting there watching both of you finishing the stage. You finishing the music, he finishing Egypt pretty much at the same time. It was so good.
If I had just been a little bit more patient with music, I probably would have gotten a little bit faster. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, you're definitely not out, by the way. NPC,
oh no, but the positive thing is that I get to play even more bad games.
Oh baby, WC.
As long as I can survive.
With Chris and Keith, hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Sure can.
Oh, Keith is just filled with excitement from that tone.
Jeez, yeah, what the crap? That was so close.
That was awesome.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the tightest races we've had.
Yeah, I mean, my last round with Barbarian, I barely just kind of pulled ahead as well, so I'm just getting closer and closer and closer to the point where I think my luck's gonna run out.
Well, I mean, competition is definitely getting steeper. Yeah, you're moving on, though, in the winner's bracket. So what were your impressions of the game?
Not great, I suppose.
What?
I mean,
NPC
I think the main
said
thing
he
that
liked
hit
it.
me was... the main thing that kind of hit me was when I got to the end of the first 3 levels, beat the boss, and I was like, oh wait, these are the exact same 3 levels again, isn't it?
You could have only wished.
Oh,
And that's
jeez.
when I realized this is going to be the whole game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Bubsy on Game Boy Color for you. Yeah,
Not
that,
even Game Boy Color. That would have been a step up.
like, no, I'm just thinking about it because, like, the maps were so big. Koal was talking to me about this, and I think he's right. The maps for Game Boy Color game are actually pretty darn huge, and that probably stifled the creativity that they were allowed to have on the Game Boy.
I will say that the music was a lot better after the title screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is a lot better after the title screen.
Well, essentially, was trying to convince the viewers that music stages had worse music than the title, and I told him he was full of lies.
Everything was better than the title, Brasentia.
Well, okay, NPC. I didn't listen to much of it, but the music for the music stage was just driving me bonkers. Well, cool. This was a fantastic watch. I'm excited to see what comes next for you. Yeah, NPC, you said you get to play more. Oh my gosh, what are you doing, Chris and Keith?
I'm sorry. I think Sumo Santa needs to take center
That
stage
is
for
beautiful.
this.
Oh, that is too good.
But yeah, I am excited that hopefully if I can last in losers, I can just play a lot more bad games like I did in the second Kusogrand3.
Yeah,
But that's a long wish, I feel.
we'll see how that goes. There's been some very tight competition during this tournament, so it's just been neat to see how everybody does. And with Chris and Keith, you're one of the newcomers this year, right?
Yep, first time.
You're shocking me. Like, seriously, you're doing extremely well.
He could be the next NPC.
Uh-oh.
I don't know that I'd wish that on anybody. You play Sword of Sodan for fun.
It is a fun game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, a while ago I did play Time Cop and try to finish that, so...
Time Cop.
That game's pretty good. I like that one.
I stopped after level 1.
Oh, boy. It's
It
a
somehow
special
gets worse
game.
in level 2 when you're underwater and you're moving at snail's pace. You can't really do anything except walk and shoot.
Oh, I can't even remember Time Cop. Zero memory. What?
How is that possible?